Have you ever wanted to record a podcast but didn't know the way? Well, I've got good news. Let me tell you about something. It's called Anchor, and Anchor is the easiest way to record a podcast. Let me explain. It's absolutely free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. And it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So here's what I need you to do. Please download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Hello and welcome to the Tutu Podcast. I'm so glad you could join me today. As always, thank you to everybody who listens to the show each and every week. It brings me great joy to do this every week, and I'm excited about what's about to happen in the next month. You do not want to miss an episode of this show. Today, I wanted to just introduce what's going to be happening for the month of July. This is going to be, and I say it for a lot of the shows that I do, several shows that I've done, that these particular shows for the next month or so are going to be very eye-opening, not only for myself, but for those who listen and are dealing with, have dealt with what I've dealt with. So with that being said, let's go into it. We'll see you soon. What if I told you that there was such thing as monsters under the bed? Would you call me crazy? I'm sure a few people that would listen to this would think I'm crazy for saying that. But, you know, in a day where so many wild and absurd things are being said, I probably wouldn't be looked at as crazy, but maybe goofy for saying that. But as goofy as it sounds, allow me to explain what I just said. The monsters under the bed, under your bed, under my bed, under some of our friends' beds, are not literal monsters. It's not the boogeyman. It's not what you think it is, what you've imagined would be under your bed at night. It's not those things that cause us to turn on a nightlight or play music or do something to make sure that there is no complete silence in our room. I'll be transparent with you all. I am one of those people that I need to have music playing while I sleep. I don't think I was always like that, but I don't know. I think, honestly, it's not about, monsters being in the room or anything like that. I think through a lot of the things I've dealt with involving anxiety and, ADHD and, dealing with a lot of things, traumatic things that have happened in my life. I think that's just the habit that I get into at any time. And so as I'm helping everybody else deal with the monsters under their bed, it's helping me to deal with a lot of the things that I've dealt with throughout my life. And so for the next month, I wanted to bring a series. This series has been in the works for the last couple of months. And the series is entitled Distracted. Distracted for the month of July is merely about those things in life that oftentimes, if we do not confront them, they often lead to derailment of destiny and purpose. I know I talk about a lot of things that derail us from destiny and purpose, but I think every day, though it may seem like a broken record, a skipping record, it may seem like there is a sense of redundancy. I truly believe that it needs to be talked about each and every chance we get. And so we're going to talk about each week. Each week will be themed as far as something. And look on when if you follow me on any platform, any social media platform, you will be seeing different things, different quotes, uh, uh, different interactive portions that will allow me to, or allow you all to, not be fully transparent, but will allow you to kind of openly and openly deal with some things, both in mainly openly deal with some things that you are dealing with right now. Deal with those monsters under the bed. Deal with those distractions that distract us from our purpose. But today, I wanted to take a little bit of time, not a long time, but just a little bit of time to set the tone, set the stage, if you would, for the next month. And I titled this thing "Monsters Under the Bed" because for just a little bit, I'm going to just briefly outline the fear, the not only fear, but the things that we deal with. And so let me stop rambling so I can get right into it, because you are not going to want to miss anything this week, especially tonight. We're going to expand a little bit more into Monsters Under the Bed tonight on IG Live. Follow the IG page, follow the show page, and I'll give this to you at the end of the show. But please follow the show page at 22_podcast. And the IG on IG Live, the IG Live tonight will be on my personal page. And my personal page is AlexJ_live. That is AlexJ_live. Please, I implore you, I ask of you, please ask a friend. Have a friend join me tonight, and we're just gonna have a talk. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a little family discussion tonight on IG Live, Tuesday Night Live, as we continue today's talk. So let's get into it, y'all. So you're probably asking, hey, since these monsters aren't literal monsters, what are the monsters under the bed? Well, I'm glad you asked. The monsters under the bed are these. Fear. Fear is a big thing. It is a great thing that we often deal with. We have to understand that fear. There's two things about here's something about fear and faith, that fear and faith cannot exist. Fear and faith cannot exist at the same time. And you have to understand that both fear and faith both demand you to believe in something that you cannot see. Bob Proctor, this is a quote from Bob Proctor as I'm saying it, that faith and fear both demand you to believe in something that you cannot see, but you make the choice. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. But what happens when my mind isn't sound and the weight of the world is on my shoulder and everything that I'm dealing with is right in front of me, and it's this fear that I have in my heart that I won't do well, this fear that I have in my heart that I will fail, runs rampant in my mind. It controls my thoughts and controls my emotions. It controls what I see. It controls what I do. And we have to be strong enough to understand that faith and fear cannot exist in one place. It cannot exist. It should not exist. If you have faith, fear should not overtake your faith. And we must be willing to confront fear head on. It might be intimidating at times, but we have to be strong and courageous in all that we do. And we cannot allow fear to paralyze our every move, or paralyze our every thought, or paralyze our heart, or put us in a mode where we stop everything we're doing because we're scared of the result. Sometimes we go into things blindly. Yes, things can be intimidating, but be strong. But that's one of the first things that we are going to confront starting Thursday. The second thing is doubt. Doubt. What type of doubt do you say? Doubt that God is going to do what He has promised. Doubt that you are going to accomplish everything that you are destined and are called to accomplish. Doubt within yourself. A doubt within the doubt that what we're going through right now is going to get better. Doubt that the world is going to get better. Doubt that our communities are going to get better. Doubt that our families are going to get better. We are living in a world of not only fear, but we're living in a world that is filled with doubt, dealt with uncertainty, filled with a sense of it's not going to happen. We just filled with that thought of that is not really going to happen. And once again, just like fear, we have to confront doubt. That doubt of not only what's going on in the world, doubt of not what's just confront not only the doubt of the doubt that's going on in our families and in our culture, but the doubt of ourselves. We have to confront that. That's the biggest doubt that we have to confront, is our own self-doubt. The third thing is anger. That's the third monster under the bed. Anger. We, once again, not only are we filled with fear, not only are we filled with doubt, we are filled with anger. I've said this verse before, and it is one of my favorite verses to talk about. And it really has helped me to get through some things in my life. And we have to understand, and this is Ephesians 4:26 and 27, and it says, be angry and do not sin. And don't let the sun go down on your anger. You've heard me say this on this particular show very often. But what about those times where I don't feel like praying? What about those times that I feel like I want to choke somebody? What about those times where I'm angry because I'm being treated unfairly? What about those times where I'm angry because things in the world are not being handled right? What about those times where I'm angry because somebody said something to me and I've harbored those feelings for years? What about those times where I want to fight? Life can bring us some situations that will cause us to be so angry that we will react in an adverse way. Life itself will do that. And we have to confront anger just like the rest of them, head on. And allow me to say this, and I mean what I say, that right now A lot of people are not bitter. It's not bitterness. It is, in fact, anger. We're angry. People are angry everywhere. Doesn't matter. I mean, bitterness is that bitterness and anger with the situations and the culture that we are in right now are two different things. We're not bitter. People are not bitter. People are, in fact, angry about what's going on in the world today, and we have to confront the anger in our lives, and we have to confront those angry thoughts that want us to be violent. But it is okay to be angry. It's cool. It is okay to be frustrated about what's going on. It's okay to be enraged about the mistreatment of people. It is okay. But we have to be willing to be angry enough to make a change. Angry enough to have the conversation, to dialogue, to say enough is enough. We have to put our foot down and say enough is enough. Because if we don't get angry enough to make change, then we will allow those things that we are angry about or that we are not strong enough to confront to continue to do the same, to continue to run rampant and do the same things in a repetitive, be repetitive in their nature. And so we must confront anger as well. We must also confront, and this one we are really going to get into, and this one's going to be one of the most transparent weeks of the entire month of July. I pushed this particular week. I pushed this particular monster under the bed, this particular part and this particular topic to near the end of the month. And that is that monster of addiction. I often talk about this particular quote, and it is, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. And watch your character, for that becomes your destiny. You've heard me talk about that numerous times. I know it's I probably sound redundant, but it applies to everything, and it really applies to when you are battling addiction, no matter what addiction that may be. When it comes to battling some type of addiction in our lives, there is a fight that we have to deal with about addiction. And the main thing about that is this, that a lot of the addictions that we take part in, and the addictions that we can't break, are because we are of the thought and the mind that these are the things that fulfill us, that make us feel good, that make us feel like we are better than or greater than. They make us feel good, and they make us feel like we're okay. And let me put it like that. And please believe that it may temporarily make you feel good. It may temporarily fill a hole. It may temporarily satiate you. But we have to deal with those. Those only go but so far, and it'll be a situation where we have to, in order to survive, in order to go on with our day, we'll have to do those. We'll have to partake in that addiction. And so we're really going to talk about that as well. And I mean, we are going to talk about it. And I mean nothing will get left under the table. Nothing will get left off the table. And I just want y'all to stick by and pay attention to that week. But we must confront addiction. Another thing that we must deal with, and these two go hand in hand, addiction and this one, and this is low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is a battle that I believe we've all had to fight in some way. Whether that is the fact that low self-esteem, this is the fact that low self-esteem causes us to also do things to be accepted. They cause us to do things to be a part of a group. They cause us to do things that will push us to the brink of destruction, all for the sake of somebody liking us. Doesn't matter what that is. And so we do things to be cool, not knowing that they are lowering our self-esteem. And so we have to eventually say enough is enough. Because if we don't say enough is enough, then we will always be at the mercy of people. We'll always be at the mercy of people, and we will always be at the mercy of our low self-esteem, and the choices that we'll always be at the mercy of those choices that we make each and every day in order to be accepted or connected with someone or something. And you don't want to sell your soul, and you don't want to, you don't want to compromise your character, compromise your integrity to be connected with anybody. And believe me, I'm one of those people that has dealt with the pain of low self-esteem, the pain of trying to make friends, the pain of being understood. And so you'll do things to be understood, not knowing that the people that you are trying to get to understand you are in fact people that in some cases don't even understand themselves, are dealing with their own low self-esteem. We oftentimes attract who we are. And so we will attract people who do outlandish things for attention. If we are of that mind and we are of that person, we will attract that type of person. And so we have to confront those things that we do to be connected. I know I've said that several times in a span of a couple minutes, but just, hey, this is just how it is. Confront your low self-esteem. So we'll talk about that in the next few weeks as well. A little more in depth. We'll get more in depth into that in the next few weeks. So stick with that. And then finally, we are going to talk about, and we've talked about it before, but we are going to talk about being distracted by anxiety. Being distracted by those thoughts of depression, those thoughts of suicide, thoughts of those thoughts that run through your mind that maybe you should quit, maybe you should end it all, maybe you should do certain things in your life that will do something that will cause you to just completely vanish off of the face of the earth. And we're going to deal with the demon that is anxiety. And one of my favorite verses says, be anxious for nothing, but in prayer and petition, and make all requests made known to God. And and we but what happens when Anxiety causes me to stay up late at night. It's not insomnia. It's not mainly just insomnia, but it's mainly anxiety because I'm thinking about all of the things that I failed at for the day. I'm thinking about all the things that I didn't do right and I haven't done right at this point, or who I failed, what I've done as a person that has been a failure. And so, uh, please, the last 3 weeks of this series, I need you to gather your friends and your family. I need you to, have listening parties for this, because we are going to, we'll have a listening party each and every week for this show, because we are going to get into some things that really, really have not been talked about very much. They have been, glanced over. We talked about them briefly. But in this case now, we are really going to talk about each one of these things a little more in depth throughout the next month. So please join me for Distracting, starting on Thursday at 1 p.m. But tonight, like I said, we are going to answer some questions. We are going to get more in depth in this whole monsters under the bed thing. But we have to confront our monsters. As I'm wrapping this up, I just want to say that please be willing to write down those things that you are dealing with. What are those monsters that are under your bed? Those things that you have been so scared to deal with, and those things that you are so scared to talk to somebody about. What are those things? And also with that, what steps will you take to confront those monsters? What are you going to do to make sure that these things never come back again, that they leave your house, that these feelings leave you, that you can sleep easier knowing that fear won't paralyze you and low self-esteem won't take over your life, and that addiction won't have its way on you, and that doubt won't rule, and that anxiety won't exist in your life anymore. What are you going to do? What are those necessary steps to make sure that all of this gets taken care of? And so I challenge you for the next couple of days to really confront those things, really take that time, really make that change. Pray, worship, set the atmosphere, set a mood in your set the atmosphere in your house. Allow God to move in your house when you are dealing with any of these. Allow God to work on you. Allow God to have faith that He will bring you out of every mess and every muck and every mired situation that you are dealing with. And I believe, even though everything that I'm saying right now is probably easier said than done, I personally believe that if you take the necessary steps to strengthen your faith, to strengthen your mind, to change your thoughts and your words, to change your actions, to confront every bit of all of these head on, I think, and I believe, and I have faith that at the end of this month, as we go through the month, that we will all heal from those things in our lives that really are trying to derail us and destroy us from being great. So tonight, join me at 7 p.m. We are going to get busy. If you missed last week's Tuesday Night Live, oh man, please, please, please jump on there and jump on my IG. My IG live is my IG is my personal IG. I'm sorry, is AlexJ_live. That's AlexJ_live. Please go to my I have a section on there, of course, for Instagram. They have a section for any live IG live thing that you did. And so please go to the very first one, and I want you to watch it because we got to work on Tuesday Night Live last week. And so this week will not be any different. We are going to do it again. And so with that being said, I'll see you tonight, 7 p.m. IG Live at AlexJ_live. Y'all be blessed. See you soon.